Was there any part of us that was relieved after our daughter passed away? This was a question that I got asked in yesterday's video, and I did not tag the comment because I don't want people to be upset at someone for asking this question. I believe what she was asking was more like, what are the emotions that come after a child passes away? And I just think the word relief is the wrong word. It was never relief that we had after Poppy passed away. But what we wanted is we always wanted peace for Poppy. So a couple weeks before Poppy passed away, we had had a conversation with her palliative care doctor. Palliative care team just helped us with quality of life for Poppy and just keeping her comfortable with medications. There were absolutely no cures for our daughter, nothing we could do to save her. There weren't even medicines that we could get to help subside her symptoms, besides some anti-seizure medications. But in that, we had conversations with our palliative care team about what we would want for Poppy's life. They had to ask us the hard questions about the end of life. Would we ever want her to be on life support? Would we ever want her to be resuscitated? Just really, really hard questions, but questions that are necessary for us to have before the hard times come. And my husband and I were in agreement. We always knew that we didn't want to keep Poppy alive just so we wouldn't have to experience the pain and the loss of a child. We knew that eventually we would want peace for Poppy because her brain and her body obviously were not developing and working properly. So at the hospital, when her heart stopped and a code was called, her brain was without oxygen for a significant amount of time. And after that, her body just wasn't working. She did have to be on life support. She was intubed with a ventilator. The machines in the room were keeping her alive. And it was always hard for Poppy to be in a hospital. Thankfully, we didn't have very many stays with her in a hospital, but each time you could just tell she wasn't comfortable. That's not where she wanted to be. She wanted to be at home, in our arms all the time, hearing her siblings in the background. And so to be in a hospital and to have her intubed, we knew that that wasn't the best thing for her. This next part can be a pretty controversial topic, so just kind of a warning, but we had to come to the point where we had to make a decision in the hospital that we didn't want her to be poked and, I don't even know the right words, messed with anymore. We didn't want, we wanted peace for Poppy, but we knew that she would be at peace and the pain would be transferred to us. We would be the ones now living with the unimaginable and the hard. When our kids came to say goodbye to their sister, we had explained to them, Poppy's probably gonna pass away today. We used very direct words. We said, Poppy's probably going to die today. And our kids asked, they said, well, why can't we just keep her on the machines? And we had to explain that, we can't bring the machines home. She would have to live her life attached to these machines. And that was really hard to explain to our children. And it's something that's also just really hard for me to grasp, I feel like I'm a child in this whole situation. I'm trying to understand, and it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, it wasn't the feeling of relief we had after our daughter passed away, but there was a feeling of we knew she was at peace, which is what we wanted for her. And so for us, it was not relief. It was, we now have this pain and this emptiness and this trauma that we have to carry with for the rest of our life.